You're watching the chapter number 17 of the Blender Materials Textures and Nodes course, Displacement Node. In today's chapter, we'll be understanding about the usage of the Displacement Node in Blender, and then we'll also use it practically in the retro gaming arcade scene that we have been creating in this course. And for those of you who are new to this course, do watch the last 16 chapters of this course by using the link of the playlist given in the pinned comment. So I've opened this materials file where in the last chapter we studied about some of the advanced color controls like the color ramp node, RGB curves node, and the invert color. And today let's understand about another important node named as the displacement node. So to see how it works, we'll be creating a new material for this UV sphere. So go to the material properties, click on the plus icon and then on the new button. Then go to the edit mode by pressing tab, and with all the vertices selected, click on the assign button. After this, return back to the object mode, and now let's add the displacement node in the shader editor. So press shift plus A, then go to vector and select displacement. Let's place it over here. Now as the name suggests, the displacement node is used to displace the surface along the surface normal, and it is used to add more details to the geometry. To explain it in even simpler words, it will basically take a texture as an input, and depending upon the texture, it will create a material that will make the UV sphere look like it has some detailing on it. To see it practically, I will be adding the noise texture node in the shader editor. So press shift plus A, then go to texture and select the noise texture. Let's place it over here. Now take the factor socket and connect it to the height in the displacement node. After this, take the displacement socket and connect it to the displacement in the material output. And by doing this, you will notice that we are having a texture applied on this UV sphere which is giving it a very detailed look. In fact, I can go to the scale value in the noise texture, and if I try to increase it, then in this case, the scaling of the texture applied will also begin to change as per the scaling in the noise texture. Now you can understand what's happening in this way, that the displacement node is basically displacing the surface of the UV sphere depending upon the noise texture, which also gives it a realistic look as if we have created it with a lot of detailed geometry. Like you can clearly see that it is having a kind of 3D appearance, but in reality, if I change the mode from render to the solid mode, then in this case, we are having a very simple UV sphere with no such detailing. So the displacement node simply created a fake geometry type of thing, which is nothing but a material or a texture only applied on this UV sphere. Now you can use any node apart from the noise texture also to see how the displacement will work. For example, if I go to the shader editor and press shift plus A, then go to texture, and now suppose I select the magic texture node and place it over here. Now take the factor socket and connect it to the height in the displacement node. Let's also connect the factor socket to the base color, and by doing this, you will get a texture where the displacement of the surface is being done according to the magic texture. In fact, you can even try to change the depth to see the changes in this texture. Also, if I disconnect the connection between the displacement node and the material output node by holding Ctrl, right click and dragging the cursor like this, then after that, if I take the factor socket of the magic texture and connect it to the base color in the principal BSTF node, then basically this is how the original texture was looking when the factor socket was used. And the displacement node is also performing the displacement based on this texture, which you can also notice when I connect the displacement socket to the material output. Like right now, they have the exact same pattern displacing the surface, giving it a 3D appearance. So this is a very useful node which you can use to create a texture or a material, giving your object a highly realistic and a detailed appearance. Now before moving forward, we'll be saving this material in the material library. So first of all, let's rename it from here, and I'll change its name to Magic Displacement. And after this, press enter to confirm, and to save this material, go to the scene collection, and in the sphere, select the Magic Displacement, then right click and select Mark as a set, and the material will now get saved in the material library that we created in the chapter number 1. To check that, I'll change this window from the shader editor to the asset browser, and as you can see here, we are having the magic displacement material added in the material library. Also, if you want to download this complete Blender file with all the materials that we are saving in this course, then you can join the Patreon, whose link is added in the description. And now it's the time to use the concept of the displacement node in the retro gaming arcade scene that we started creating in the chapter number 1. So I've opened this file with the arcade scene, and today we'll be modifying this material which is around the screen of the arcade machine. Previously, we created the wood texture for all these parts of the model, but in this chapter, we'll make some changes in it and we'll also use the displacement node. So for this, with the machine selected, select the wood material in the material properties, then go to the shader editor, and to ensure that whatever changes we make get saved in a separate material and not in the wood material, we'll be creating a duplicate of the wood material. So click on this icon, and after this, let's first add the displacement node in the shader editor. So press shift plus A, then go to vector and select displacement. Let's place it over here, and now I'll take the displacement socket and will connect it to the displacement in the material output. Then for the texture of the displacement, I'll take the factor socket in the noise texture and will connect it to the height in the displacement. And by doing this, the way this texture is looking, has completely changed. But right now, the changes will be applied only on the selected machine, and that is because we had created a duplicate material which is right now only applied to the geometry of this machine. So let's first make the changes in the material and then we'll apply it to the rest of the machines. Now it's up to you if you want to change the scale value in the noise texture to change the scale of the displacement in this material or not. But for now, I'll keep the scale value to somewhere around 10, and apart from this, I also think that instead of the wood material, we should be having a silver colored reflecting material with the displacement effect on it for all these parts that are currently having the wood material. And to achieve this result, we simply need to change the colors in the color ramp node. So first of all, I'll select this pointer which is black in color and will change the color something like white, and in a similar way, I will select the second pointer also and will change it to the white or the grey color. So let's increase the brightness and let's also change the color in the color wheel. And by doing this, we are now having a material with only the white color, and this detailing is because of the displacement node. Also, to keep the focus only on this object, simply press the forward slash button in the keyboard, and now we can focus only on the selected object. Now if I zoom in, you can clearly see the detailing that is now added because of the combination of the noise texture and the displacement node. And then because of setting the white color for both the pointers in the color ramp, we get a color like this as the result. In fact, using the color ramp node is not even important right now, and that is because we are only using a single color and not a combination that we can also do directly by the base color option. But for now, I won't be removing this node because who knows, we might want to change the colors in the upcoming chapters or while finalizing the scene. Also, to give it a metallic look, simply go to the principal BSTF node and increase the metallic value, and let's also bring down the roughness value. And by doing this, we have created a material which has a silver color and a lot of detailing and realism because of the displacement node. Let's now apply the same material for the remaining models also. So I'll go to the solid mode first. After this, I'll select this 3D model, and with the wood material selected, click here and select wood.001. Now let's repeat the same procedure for this machine also. Select the wood.001, then similarly for this one also, let's select the duplicate material of the wood. Then for this one, let's change the material to the duplicate in a similar way. I'll also select this machine, then in the material properties, I'll select the wood material and we'll change this to wood.001. In a similar way, let's do the same for the remaining 3 also. Now I'll select this one, then change the material, and at last, I'll select this machine, change the material to wood.001. And with this, let's also go to the rendered view, and I might have made some mistake in applying the material for this particular machine. So to solve the issue, let's change this material that was the original one for the body of the machine, then go to the material properties, select the wood material and change this to wood.001. And finally, this brings us to the end of this chapter. Today we learned to use the displacement node, which allowed us to add some realism, a 3D effect, and some detailing to our materials. Also, if you want to download this Blender file containing the complete retro gaming arcade scene, then you can join the Patreon, whose link is added in the description. And so our next chapter will be the chapter number 18, Wave Texture. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, press that notification bell so that you can get timely updates about the upcoming chapters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.